Hello, hi, and here we are to talk about the astrological outlook for the month of October 2016. Well, it all starts with the moon in Libra, supposedly the sign of balance and harmony. But don't let all that Barbie doll hype fool you into thinking that Libra is all kind of pink and fluffy. This sign is all about an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Just like its opposite sign of Aries, Libra will fight to the death in an effort to achieve its desired equilibrium. Libra does want to relate, but on its own terms. This is a cardinal sign. What does a cardinal sign mean? It means that it wants to initiate, to instigate, and to lead. It means that it wants to take us into the act of relating. And okay, this is what is needed now in so many lives. We need something which initiates, leads, or at least points us in the right direction, because a lot of us are groping around in a wilderness right now. I don't think that we can solve everything this month, but I think we can certainly make an impact, and I think we can certainly find direction, even if we don't get to the final resting place. We're working towards a new world, really, and we can make significant strides this month. If I was to put this month on a graph, then it would start with the action at the bottom here, and then it would make a bell shape and finish up with the end of the month back at the same place. We have a new moon at the beginning, a new moon at the end, and 2 weeks in, right in the middle of the month, we have this full moon where there's a huge amount of activity around the 15th and the 16th. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remark on how the month of October has three kind of prongs to it, three things that I think are very important. What we're going to be looking at is how things are exposed, then how they're clarified, and then how blame is apportioned. So yes, relating rather, and meeting does go on, but it's what happens in that relating. Let's take an example, right? Let's look at the recent debate between Clinton and Trump in the USA. So they met. They related briefly, things were exposed and clarified, and invariably blame arose. They blamed each other. One of my subscribers actually pointed out a basic difference between these two. So this is an effort to clarify. So Trump comes from the private sector, a more business-oriented background, and Clinton comes from the public sector, but she has more social equality motivations. Now, whether or not you agree with that, it's just one way to see their differences. And this is what I really want you to see at the moment. It's an example of exposing and clarifying and then blaming. And this is what runs through October, particularly in the middle, where we get a lot of excitement. So overall, if you remember that, but then also remember something else, I want you to think about October and the months ahead as months in which we are heading towards a new social consciousness. This is what we're forming right now, and this is what we need. Let's look at where we are. Where are we coming out of? What has it been like? So we have been in a long summer with the Saturn-Neptune square. And it has dissolved a lot of things, including relationships, during the summer. So personal relationships have been dissolved. The relationship between the UK and Europe was dissolved. Okay, but also what the Saturn-Neptune square did during the summer was it highlighted conflicts in cultural beliefs. And it also symbolized a free-floating anxiety, a paranoia in certain circumstances, and depression in other circumstances. It spawned new movements and new ideals. So in the USA, the movement called Black Lives Matter was born, and we can see that enacted with sports people at the moment. And it also, well, it's throughout the whole culture of the USA, but also what was important in the USA, I think, was the issues surrounding gun control, and shootings. The USA suffered a lot of shootings, and that must have brought up arguments about gun controls and the debate around guns in general. There was also, and remains, anxiety over the presidential race, and I think this is causing a lot of anxiety for people in the US, and maybe it's their biggest issue right now. The UK had several political storms in the summer, and the world over in general, there were issues regarding immigration and terrorism. So all of these things were what we have dealt with. We have had issues in our personal life which kind of reflect or match them. But if we could put it all into a general theme, then I think what we'd be saying is that we have been looking at principles, ethics, morals, and beliefs. And these things have been challenged. For the past month, the sun was in Virgo, and the energies of the Virgo-Pisces axis, these two opposite signs, were very, very evident. This is the axis that is really talking about dissolving. It has a huge lack of resistance rather than strength. So it has reduced us to the equivalent of a primordial soup, really. So much has been softened into weakness and fear. Why has the cosmos done this to us? Well, let's look at the cosmic plan that might be behind it. For me, it works like this. When the cosmos wants us to find something, to develop a new awareness, then it removes it from our lives. Then we can clearly see what has been taken and what's been missing. We can recognize how much we miss it and how much we need it. So we've been asked to search our consciousnesses, I think that's the word, for hidden prejudices and ethical stances. And we may have become frightened and taken out of our comfort zone by the issues that have come up. And we may have succumbed to fear about our future. But within the ferment of this is the seed of a new social consciousness. So it was social conscious stuff and ethics and morals that were kind of like looked at and removed and dissolved and brought into our lives. And they have been challenged. Our beliefs have been challenged, and our social consciousness has been challenged. And maybe now we're looking at rather a barren landscape where we really don't know what we want or where we're headed. We don't know what to believe in anymore. Okay? These things have been thoroughly loosened. And now is the time for rebirth into something new, a new social consciousness. We must look in the dark and we must bring something out into the light. What do we need? We need a new direction. We need a new social order. And I think that's what we're working towards. Consciousness, both personal and collectiveness, and the issues around beliefs and ethics around that. This is where we're headed. But first we need to identify and we need to clarify what we have got. And so we need the idealizing and the deliberation of Libra to help us do that. We need the instigating and evaluating properties that Libra has. So this instigating, initiating energy can lead us out of the doldrums, hopefully, but we also need the deliberation that comes with it. We need to kind of think about stuff. At least Libra will weigh everything up, and eventually, and I mean eventually, Libra will make a decision based upon fairness and diplomacy. We may find that legal issues are a feature of October because this is the man-made process of weighing things up. This is Libra's domain, the scales of justice. So we may find that legal things come up. And this is a month that should be strong on social awareness, but it will also illuminate the results of past mistakes and indiscretions. Whoa, think about that, past mistakes and indiscretions. There is all kinds of stuff in the skeleton cupboard which could come out now. So the fate, natural fate, or law, awaits those things that should have been put right before. So we've got natural fate and karma, which is like a natural law, and then we've got the man-made laws of our legal systems. These await to go into judgment over the things that have happened in the past, the things that will come out now. And I think all this will happen around the middle of the month, so it could be quite exciting. However, I reiterate, I don't think this month solves all our problems. I think we've got some way to go yet. And actually, I'm looking long term into spring of next year before I think we actually start to get a real view of where we're headed. But this month is constructive because it puts down the foundations for the new building, and this is where we have to be. So let's think. The weekend of the 15th and 16th, this is the weekend in the middle, is the one to watch for. The full moon will be accompanied by a certain degree of, how can I say it? Strife and discord might be the best way of putting it. Sudden and surprising announcements may be made. Sudden and surprising actions may happen in our news. And these could carry great weight for future changes. Those who are due some comeuppance will get it. Now, I think we all know who could do with comeuppance, both in our personal lives and also when we look around publicly. So let's see how much comeuppance manages to emerge in the middle of the month. I think legal processes may be initiated or come to fruition, or we may witness this natural justice as I was talking about. So the basic message is sort your life out, for the things you have failed to take care of may return to haunt you. And I think this may have an impact on the presidential race, but I think it will also affect individuals that have not observed the proper protocols or lived honestly. And well, I'm going to leave it at that. Let's just watch for what happens. So in other news, I want to bring up something else for October now. I think there is a knight in shining armour waiting in the wings who is going to emerge in the later part of the month. Ever since 2008, we have had a creative edge in the atmosphere, a very highly accelerated, speedy way to solve things. We have been ingenious, and we've brought up all kinds of wonderful inventions and wonderful ideas and things. And I think this creative edge in human thinking has got us out of a heck of a lot of mess. We have literally invented our way out of the path of the iceberg as we were sitting on the Titanic. We have been very clever, and it has saved us over and over again. The near misses have been very close. But I think we get an opportunity to do this again. From about the 19th of October to the 28th of October is a very creative time when our best brains will work on things and design new ways of being, which will be very clever and very ingenious. The 28th especially is very important for this. It might seem a turbulent time, but whenever our leaders and our inventors are pushed to the edge, that's when they come up with the brilliance. And we don't always know or appreciate how close we are to the edge. So we don't always know or appreciate what our brilliant minds are doing. But technology in the 21st century and its accumulated wisdom is at breakneck speed, as we all know. We can hardly keep up. And this is down to the brilliance of our innovators. And our innovators are really kind of like leading the way. And we will maybe see this in evidence, but it will be there anyway around the later part of the month. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of recap now on what the month contains. Let's just have a repeating thing. Overall, we're looking at actions of, first of all, exposing, and then clarifying, and then blaming, and then they will be features of October. October should expose that which we should have rectified before. It should clarify that which was murky or difficult to see because of the summer and all the things that got broken down. And then we will apportion blame and maybe resort to scapegoating, or things will be subject to natural law or man-made law and legal systems. But overall, we have a new social consciousness in the making, and it's this social consciousness that we're developing and working towards. This month makes a great contribution to that. Okay, now if you want to know how this month will affect you personally, and you couldn't quite work it out from all of that, you have to apply it to the personal and it will work just as well. But if you can't do that, then do contact me for a private consultation, and we can work on your personal stuff and really get the best out of October, which is a very instigating and leading and dynamic month. And so, hey, you don't want to miss that, because your opportunities for personal growth there are absolutely magnificent, and we can have a look at that together. My consultations are, initial consultations are 90 minutes long, so that's an hour and a half, and they just cost £69 or $90. So, hey, you're worth that. And I hope to speak to you again on another YouTube video about the month of November at the end of October. Nice to talk to you. Have a great month anyway. Bye.